Hello guys, so we are going to continue a discussion with respect to statistics. In this video, we are going to discuss about confidence interval and margin of error. Till now, with respect to confidence interval, we have discussed and we have solved problems with the help of Z-stats, T-stats, T-test, Z-test, right? Let's say if our confidence interval is 95%, right? Then we basically create this kind of line. If it is a two-tailed test, we say that, okay, my values, if it is ranging between this range, this confidence interval, this part is 95%, this part is 2.5%, and this part is 2.5%. Now, whenever from my Z-test or p-value, if it lies in this region, then we are going to accept the null hypothesis. Otherwise, we are going to reject if it comes in this two extreme end, right? But till now, we did not understand like what value can come within this confidence interval, right? Initially, whenever we are trying to solve a Z-stats or T-stats problem statement, there we have a sample mean. And we try to make some conclusion about the population mean, right? So, in this scenario, I think we have discussed about this topic also, which is called as point estimate, okay? If I talk about point estimate, let's say if I have an X bar value, this is my sample mean. X bar is the point estimate to probably estimate the population mean, okay? To estimate the population mean. Now in this case, if I say my X bar is somewhere around 2.5, okay, let's consider this is 2.5 and my mean is 3. Now 2.5 right now is less than 3, right? And sample mean X bar can also be greater than 3, okay, in some of the scenarios where we are picking up different samples. In both this case, you will be seeing there is a difference, and that is the problem of using point estimate. So what we should do is that we should define some range of confidence interval. I can basically say that my point estimate lies between 2 to 4. If I say like this, right, then probably we can represent this estimate of an unknown population parameter, right? So for this case, we specifically use important confidence interval. We basically say it as confidence interval, okay? Now in this confidence interval, we are going to define some intervals with respect to the confidence level, right? Interval basically means some lower confidence to higher confidence. And for determining or for specifying this confidence interval, we use a formula. And the formula is very simple. The formula is point estimate plus or minus margin of error. Margin of error. Because we know that our point estimate will obviously be a little bit less, or it can also be more, or it can be approximately equal to the population mean. So for defining the confidence interval, we will specifically use this particular formula. Over here, the point estimate is nothing but X bar plus or minus. How do we calculate margin of error? So for this, we use Z alpha by 2. This is just for our Z test so that we can actually look over the area under the curve by using that Z table. And further, we multiply this by sigma divided by root n. If it is a Z test. If it is a Z test. If it is a T test, then we will probably use T over here. T alpha by 2. And again, over there, you need to calculate the degree of freedom. Okay. Now, let me just show you one example. And let me just show you that how we can probably calculate it. I'll just take a very simple example and we'll try to calculate the confidence interval. So the example is on the verbal section of CAT exam, the standard deviation is, now if population standard deviation is given, what I have to use? I have to use Z test, right? Is known to be 100, right? A sample of 30 test takers has a mean of 520. Construct 95% confidence interval. Confidence interval about the mean. Now we need to find out this range. And how do we find out this range? We'll try to see. Okay. Now on this, what we can basically do is that we can first of all assume the formula, right? Over here, we know my formula is X bar plus Z alpha by 2. And this is standard deviation by root n. Now what is this Z alpha by 2? We know the alpha value is 0.05, right? So alpha by 2 will be nothing but Z 0.025, right? So over here, let's go ahead and calculate, right? Now with respect to Z alpha by 2, first of all, you need to know what is this Z alpha by 2, right? This is basically, whenever we say alpha by 2, we are considering this as a two-tailed test. This is 95% confidence interval. This is 2.5%. This is 2.5%. And we have seen so many times the Z table. What is the area for this entire? If I really want to find out this area, what I will do? I will calculate this area minus this, right? Now with respect to this area, right, it is nothing but 1 minus 0.25. Sorry, 0.025. 0.025. And we know what it will be, 0.9750. And with respect to this, the area under the curve of 0.9705 is 1.96, which is my standard deviation, right? So over here, I'll be going to get 1.96. How did this come? This is from the Z table. Just go and check where does 0.9750 area under the curve lie. You'll be able to see it is nothing but 1.96. If this is plus 1.96, then this will be minus 1.96, right? Now we'll go ahead and calculate. The first scenario is the lower confidence interval, lower CI. What is my X bar in this case? It is nothing but 520, right? The mean is that much. This will be 1.96 multiplied by 100 divided by root 25. So if I probably calculate, I'll be getting 480.8. If you go ahead and calculate, it is 480.8. Now similarly, I will go and compute my higher CI. Higher confidence interval, it will be nothing but 520 plus margin of error, obviously 1.96, 100 divided by root 25. And here I'm going to get 559.2. Now this is saying that my confidence interval lies between these two values, that is 480.8 and 559.2, right? So the final assumption that I can probably make, okay, I am 95% confident that my CAT exam score, the average CAT exam score will be lying between 480.8 and 559.2, because this is the confidence interval. This is what we are deciding. If my values is within this confidence interval and in this region, then we are going to accept the null hypothesis. If it is away, I'm going to reject the null hypothesis, right? So here finally, in conclusion, with respect to this, I can say that I am 95% confident about the mean, the CAT score is between 480.8 and 559.2, right? So I hope you are able to understand from this, from using the confidence interval and margin of error. This specifically is the margin of error. With respect to t-test, instead of using Z table, you'll be using T table. The formula will be staying like this, okay? So this is how you can probably calculate the lower confidence interval and higher confidence interval by using the margin of error. So I hope you like this particular video. I hope now you're able to understand what exactly confidence interval is and how do you determine that value, that range, okay? So yes, this was it from my side. I will see you all in the next